sketchbook, find a blank page, and we are going to try out using this Tim Burton inspired portrait handout that I've provided for you. You either have the paper copy or you're looking at a digital copy online. First step, we're going to just try a couple. Let's make a couple up to test before we start our actual project. So first step, looking at the face shapes. Choose one of those to try to draw. Don't forget that long skinny neck that Tim Burton's known for. Next up, you're going to choose a pair of eyes. Any eyes that you like. Then give your character some eyebrows. And a nose. And then, of course, a mouth. Now let's try that whole process again. Go ahead and do a different one. Try a different head shape, different eyes, etc.
Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see. This our town of Halloween. This is Halloween. This is...
So I tried 3 different ways of making some Tim Burton characters, but right now all of them are hairless. Go ahead and add some hair. Each of your characters also needs to have ears, so try ears. You may decide not to use them later, but put some ears on them. And lastly, you can give them clothing. If you want to try, you can add some shapes down here that look like their shoulders or the collar of their shirt. Could be as simple as just a t-shirt. Or maybe something more structured like a V-neck that has the collar shape. You decide. One more thing that Tim Burton does I'd like you guys to add is some sort of cheek structure. This gives us something to shade later. So you can either do, for example, if these were my faces, this is my mouth and nose, you could do happy cheeks like this that make the cheeks look round. Another option, again, my nose, is to do something the opposite of that. A curve like this makes the cheekbones look sunken in. They look a little more haunted, sort of the Tim Burton style. After you've tested these, you have to choose which one do you like the best, and we're gonna go ahead and turn that into a full portrait of a Tim Burton imaginary character, or maybe this is someone you know. Maybe you should style it after somebody you know. And we're gonna go ahead and use gray paper with charcoal to create this project. So choose the one you like the best and go for it on the gray paper. Start by sketching in pencil really lightly so you can easily change any mistakes that you don't like. Make sure your eyes are really large on the paper. That's definitely very characteristic of Tim Burton.
Everybody scream! Everybody scream!
I am the clown with the tearaway face!
Here in the flesh and gone without a trace!
I am the who when you call who's there. I am the wind blowing through your hair.
Same thing on gray paper. We're going to use black charcoal and a white chalk. Flip that paper over and give it a try on the back. Gray is part of your value scale. It's that mid-tone. Our black is going to give us the dark values, and our white is going to create the bright light value. So you get to add in both light and dark and let gray be the middle part of that value scale. On the back, go ahead and try that out. You've never used this material before maybe, so let's give it a try. Also, move it around with your finger. Notice how much you can fade out that charcoal. You can really blend it away, almost rubbing it off the paper. Same thing with the chalk. Switch fingers. My charcoal finger is dark now. I'm going to use a different finger. But same thing with the white. You can really move this around. It's in fact very messy and dusty. Now you've tested that, can you make a little value scale? Can you make it go from really dark into really light? So what happens in the middle? You get a different kind of gray than just the gray of the paper. So these are different ways we're going to work with this charcoal. Now, going back to our picture, first step, Tim Burton has these huge white eyeballs. So let's start with those. Let's color in the white of the eyes, super bright white. Right now, these look like flat white circles. The fun thing about Tim Burton's animation is how everything looks three-dimensional, even though it's all just drawn works of art. We're gonna take a little bit of black. You decide where, but you're gonna shade that eyeball a little bit. I'm gonna add just a smear of black on here and use this with my fingertip or with a blending stick to shade this so it starts to feel like a sphere. That's the whole purpose of this assignment. We are going to try to make these objects, these face features, look three-dimensional by adding a lot of shading. You can't really do it wrong. You can just have fun with it. We're looking for contrast of dark and light values on this paper and blending. So we're trying to blend things away so that they look three-dimensional. Now, my eyeballs are not done. They obviously need the pupil and the eyelashes, but those really strong black values, we're gonna save till the very end. If you do them right now, you might blend them away. So we'll move on to shading the rest of the face and then adding hair, and then we'll go back and add those really strong black areas that we don't want to disappear. I'm gonna move into shading the face now. So just taking that black charcoal, let's go ahead and outline. Next, with my finger, I can start moving this around to soften the line and to start shading her face. We want it to look round. Try giving her a shadow, him or her. Give your person a shadow under their eyes. Remember those lines we added in to be the cheekbone area? Draw that. So basically go over all your lines and then blend them a little bit with your finger. Don't forget the neck. I like to add shading right above the eyeball underneath the eyebrow. Makes the eyes look a little bit shadowy, sunken in. All right, I'm gonna set aside this. I've done a lot of shading on the face. I'm gonna go back with the white and add highlights on some of the face. Places that typically have highlights. Down the center of the nose because it sits out in the light, so give it a little bit of highlight there, blend it away. Tippy top of the forehead a lot of times has like a shiny spot on it. So pick a spot there to add some light. If you put any shading on the chin, you want to also give it a highlight. And sometimes lips. You can decide if you want your lips to be bright white and shiny or if you want to make them darker. You've got a little highlight there. And then it's up to you from there if you want to add some around the cheek area. This is also giving more contrast if you put a little more white on the page. One of my favorite things to do is to give a shadow to the neck. So I've got a darker side on the neck. I'm gonna go ahead and make a brighter side. Gives it more contrast, makes it look like the light is really hitting them in a weird, shadowy, creepy way. Once you're done with this, go ahead and go back with your black charcoal, see if there's anywhere you want to darken it up again. I think I want the neck to feel darker. And I think I want to try to make this side of her face feel darker too. Okay, if you're ready, you can go ahead and finish the face with those strong black details. For example, I have to give her her pupil, that strong black dot. Never gonna touch it again. Her eyelashes now can go in. If I'd put them in already, they wouldn't show up. They would have been blended away, so we waited. I'm gonna go back to her lips and add that line in between her lips and maybe just darken them. And the ears. Okay, whatever hair shape you chose, time to color it in. You're gonna use both black and white on this. I like to go in first with the black. I'm gonna color it in softly using my finger. Then I'm gonna go back with both the black and the white, and I'm gonna add strands of hair that will show up on top of that dark color I added. There's lots of ways you can do this. Just play around with it, have fun. You can always kind of blend stuff away if you're not happy with how things come out. Don't color over your ears.
This is Halloween, red and white.
Slimy green.
Aren't you scared? Well, that's just fine. Say it once, say it twice. Take a chance and roll the dice. Ride with the moon in the dead of night.
Everybody scream. Everybody scream.
I am the clown with the tearaway face.
Here in the flesh and gone without a
Okay,
trace.
one little trick to the hair. Darken with your vine charcoal, that black charcoal, right around the face. That really makes a difference for making the hair look like it's coming away from the head. So you've cast a shadow around the head by darkening in your lines in that area. Now don't forget about any clothing that you might have given your person. All right, and the very last step for this project, we are going to shade the background. I want you to add sort of a dark glow, dark shadow, not a glow, a dark area around the outside edge so that these all kind of have a similar haunted portrait feeling. So it should be dark out here and it turns lighter as it gets to the face. You can just use the gray paper and the black, or if you want to, if you think it needs a little punch, you can add a little bit of white in here. It's really up to you. You can take a look at the examples also to make your decision. So add the black and then smear it in. And sort of rounds it at the corners. Don't just leave me a square, that would look weird.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween. 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 Halloween.
In this town we call home, everyone hails to the pumpkin song.
Final steps, go back in. Just make sure things that are black look really black. I'm kind of re-darkening eyelashes and eyebrows. And then I'm